Hello, Brain Tap Nation. Welcome to the special edition, Sunday edition of Brain Tap Live. We're bringing you a very special guest, someone I'm going to be with next week on June 4th in Orange County. And I want to introduce Rhonda Grillo of Saracet. She's a tech coach. She's going to help you with your brain. But tell us a little bit about how you got into this business of working with people's brains and helping them to think better, respond better, and maybe give us a little bit of background about Saracet so they understand what we're talking about here.
Okay, well, I'll make it as short as I can, Dr. Porter, but basically my daughter, after she graduated from college and was working her first job, she ended up going skiing and had a traumatic brain injury. And she had had concussions in the past from playing sports in high school, so we already had some brain issues with her. And she'd gotten adrenal fatigue and all sorts of things. So I'd already been, looking into the brain and trying to help her with all that. And when she got the TBI, I took her to some famous doctors, neuroscientists, and that sort of things to try to help her, and spent a lot of money. And unfortunately, they weren't able to help her. So, when your child gets injured, you just keep searching for answers. And I just happened upon Saracet, which stands for cerebral reset. And what I liked about it is that it's completely non-invasive and it's very effective, and it allows the brain to make its own way back to resetting itself and balancing itself. And it's the thing that brought her life back. So then I tried it for sleep because I had surface sleep issues for like 30 years. And when you don't sleep, as you would know, your body just falls apart. So when I started getting deep, restful sleep, my body started healing. I started getting my energy back. So I told my husband, I have to do this business.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about the type of person that comes to see you that might be interested in coming out and visiting on June 4th, because this is something you're going to be there. You're going to have your equipment to show people or talk to them about or set up meetings. Tell us a little bit about what they can expect on June 4th.
Yeah, so I'm going to be representing Saracet Mission Viejo there, which is my office in sunny Southern California. And they'll be able to book an appointment for an introductory session where they can actually get an EEG scan to see if their brain is in balance or out of balance. So the type of people that I help are people that basically they've had chronic stress, traumatic experiences, or just prolonged stress, which causes the brain to become imbalanced. And what happens when our brain is imbalanced is it's not communicating between the two lobes, the left and right hemisphere. And that imbalance can then cause a lot of discomforts, including poor sleep, just not being able to handle stress and developing anxiousness and even, deep sadness and a depressed state and that sort of thing. Also mood instability. If somebody's quick tempered or they just feel like their emotions are out of control. Low energy is another thing that we tend to help, in the back in balance. So it improves relationships, performance. We also help athletes reach peak performance because when the brain is in balance, and it's communicating better, they also become more coordinated and all sorts of when the brain is in balance and communicating between itself.
No, that's fantastic. I personally know about 6 people that you've helped personally, that are within a group that I participate in, Stephen E. being one of them they can meet. He's raving about what's going on and how that's working. And I know a lot of people get confused about biofeedback, neurofeedback, and all of this. And this is like an advanced beyond what's out there. So people might get a little confused when they see something about neurofeedback and think they've experienced it before. Can you kind of delve a little deeper so they understand this is different in that you don't have to consciously do, like a lot of times, you're sitting watching sailboats or you're doing all these different activities. Tell us a little bit with people who've been exposed to this, because neurofeedback is getting a lot of press out there. And this is even more advanced than that. I mean, really. Yeah. So maybe you can tell us a little bit.
There's actually a big difference between biofeedback and neurofeedback in Saracet. So the technology in Saracet in the science world, it's called a closed loop system. So basically the others are open loop. So open loop means that you're retraining the brain, you're conditioning the brain, you're instructing the brain to do something. And there's somebody on the other end that's basically making the decisions as to what they think would be best for your brain at that point. With Saracet, it's a closed loop technology. So it's your brain waves being converted into engineered musical tone. You listen to that in almost real time. And your brain starts recognizing its own patterns. It's called brain echo mirroring. And so what happens is the brain, as it recognizes itself and it sees the stress patterns and the things that it needs to improve and change, it basically resets itself and rebalances itself on its own terms without us telling it to do anything. And that's the beautiful part about this, because your brain, it's like, who am I to tell your brain what to do? It knows what to do if it just gets a good, clear picture in the mirror.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about when you're talking about peak performance, can you give us, without telling us, of course, the people's names or whatever, but maybe some exciting things that have come out of the therapy? Like what was the end result with your daughter, and what maybe some other things that you've seen out there in the world?
Okay, yes, I love to talk about the stories. I literally feel like I have been privileged to see miracles happen, and in a big realm of people and different backgrounds and experiences. My daughter got her life back. I mean, when she came home and had lost her job from the TBI, I thought I might have to take care of her the rest of her life. And of course, I would have done that, but it's not what she wanted, right? And now she works. She moved out a year and a half after doing the Sarasat, and she got a job and she lives on her own. She pays her own bill. To me, that's miraculous. I had a 94-year-old man come into my office. His kids, they brought him in because he had almost died of cancer a year prior. They nursed him back to health with nutrition and some other things, but he was still deeply depressed and grieving from his wife's passing 2 years prior. And Sarasat got him back in as far as his mood. And just 4 days, the transformation I saw from his deep sadness into being happy and alive was phenomenal. But then 21 days later, he comes in, he's standing up straighter. He's not walking with his cane. He's using a walking stick because he said his kids wanted him to for safety reasons. But he was doing crossword puzzles, Dr. Porter, and he was reading and comprehending for the first time in 20 years. They had not told me that he had been diagnosed with a memory problem, and he had overcome that. So he wasn't lonely anymore because he had things he could do. I had an attorney come in who was very, very stressed because of a divorce he was going through. And so he came in to get his stress resiliency back and to be able to sleep good again. But when he came back 21 days later, he said, Rhonda, my memory is so sharp and my recall that I'm recalling the jurors' names just after hearing them one time. And I'm looking really sharp in the courtroom. I had a tennis player that she said her game improved so much that they were teasing her about being a ninja tennis player. And, we got a kick out of that. So I've had people, Dr. Porter, that aren't car sick anymore. Their vision has improved. They're not claustrophobic anymore. Anything can happen with the brain because it's literally an infinite organ.
Right. I know that I didn't even get a chance to tell you about this, but we did work with Seminole College down in Florida, and they used that technology as well. And we did it in conjunction with BrainTap, and they won the national championship this year. So they were doing both sides of it. They actually have two machines because the professors there were getting so much benefit out of the type of neurofeedback that's happening, that they were clogging up the machine for the students. So in the one downside the professor that's using it said is that they put it in the disability lab when it could be used for anybody, right? You're talking about, you don't have to have a brain problem to do this, right? You can do it with peak performance. So
Exactly.
like you're talking about this lawyer, I mean, if you just want to tune up your brain, if you're out there for biohacking, this is a new tool, a new technology that is out there that, I mean, I'm hearing just fantastic results with it. People are feeling as if their whole body and brain is being rewired back to a normal state after all the stress we've been under. So, I'm going to encourage people to come out. I know you're you're also one of the sponsors of the Orange County event. You've done this before. So maybe you can tell the listeners a little bit about what to expect when they come to the event in Orange County.
Yeah, well, the event's awesome because you're going to speak, aren't you, Dr. Porter? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they usually have somebody speak that's, outside of the box thinkers, right? Because it's a conglomeration of people that are into biohacking, overcoming symptoms and ease and different things that's not your typical normal way of doing it, which is, taking pretty candy colored pills, basically, right? We're not into covering up symptoms. This group is about getting to the root cause. And when you think about the brain is literally the driver of the bus, right? As simple as that. So if the brain is out of balance, of course the body's going to suffer. And it's not just psychological and emotional symptoms that come up for people, but it's also physical eventually. So I'm totally in love with the brain now. I'm like the brain nerd. People have been calling me the brain dame because I just dove into this and learned all I could about the brain to help not only my daughter, but then myself and then other people. And people that know me, Dr. Porter, if they say I can't believe you're doing this, because 5 years ago my nickname was pretty much Dory, the fish in that Scatterbrain movie. I was like, I had no focus, my memory was horrible, I had no clarity, I was locking my keys in the car all the time. Menopause does that to women too, I found out, and I didn't know that either. It's awful, the challenges that women go through with menopause. We've done a clinical study with menopause where they've had less intense hot flashes and they've had them less often. So again, the brain is the hormone regulator and that sort of thing. So optimizing the brain, I believe that it will be the number one go-to eventually in the future, once science catches up to the fact that the brain is the master controller, it's the mainframe computer, and when it's in balance, we perform better.
Yeah, that's great. So when you think about coming to the event, if they can make it, great. They get to meet you. They can spend some time talking with you. Schedule that free that evaluation. So tell them a little bit about your location, what you're doing in Southern California, because you're there all the time. I'm just flying in for the event, but you're right there local. So if somebody's in Orange County, how do you recommend they communicate with you and come in and see you?
Yeah, well, my phone number to the business is 949-257-3578. Again, that's 949-257-3578. I'm open Monday through Friday. If you're interested in optimizing your brain, you don't even have to come in for the introductory. You can actually do the 5 sessions. What we do is intense. You come in 4 days in a row and you experience the technology. And we also work on changing habits, actions, thoughts, and beliefs, because who wants to build a new network, right? A new neural network that has the same old habits, thoughts, actions, and beliefs. It's literally an opportunity to transform your future and your life. And I've seen it happen. So we work on that as well. And we have some homework for you to do around that. And, we're going to talk about eating healthy and all that. Because if you're not going to do the foundational things for good health, you're going to get some results, but not maximum results. And I like my clients to get absolute maximum results. I take it personal. So anyway, just give us a call and or text that number and tell us you're interested. And I've got a little short 2-minute video you can watch, and it'll basically introduce you to it. But the bottom line is, when you get your brain relaxed and it resets itself and rebalances itself, you can go back to that thriving again that you used to experience. Pretty much everyone in the world is overwhelmed by the stress we've all faced together. And I would say pretty much it's a bold statement, but every brain is out of balance. I mean, it can't help it. And it gets stuck in a state of fight or flight, right? Or freeze. And the characteristic of those 2 things, fight or flight, is basically you're experiencing anxiety. You can't think well. You might not be sleeping well. Your thinking abilities are definitely impaired. Freeze is even more serious, because now the brain is literally slowing down your organs to conserve energy. And you might be like the deer in the headlight, can't think straight, can't make decisions. It's like that freeze state where, you might be really, really sad, really, really scared. All sorts of things happen when you're in freeze. So the bottom line is get your brain out of that stuck state so that you can perform again the way you used to and thrive again, instead of just surviving your life.
That's great. So those of you out there that are interested, please come out and visit with us. We put the information over in the notes section on this this online meeting that we're having, this live event. But you can go visit her. I put all of her contact information down below. So please reach out to Rhonda. If you're having issues, and like she said, I think everyone is having issues. We've not measured a brain yet that wasn't some way out of balance. You need to have ways to bring it back in balance. Some people have really good practices, but like she's saying, even those peak performers can get some benefit out of this. So visit Rhonda's website, come out and visit us. You can speak with her live at the June 4th event. If you come a little early, if you're a business practitioner out there, a health practitioner, in the morning, BrainTap is actually, we're putting together a mini mastermind. We're going to have 25 of our doctors there. I'm going to invite you out to see that. We're trying to figure out how can we do this brain-based business post-COVID, because of course it interfered with a lot of our work, because if you have to see people one-on-one, they virtually shut us down for a while. So we're ready to open up business. We're ready to help you with your brain, and Rhonda's ready to get you set up and get your brain back into balance and get you thriving again, is what we're talking about. So Rhonda, I want to thank you for taking the time Sunday to meet. I know you're on the West Coast, a little early for you, got you up early, but it's so great. I hope that everyone who watches this can share this with a family member, friend, coworker, someone who's having issues with their either stress levels, their anxiety, their depression, whatever's going on that's a symptom. Come on out, visit us. I mean, these are people that are doing it. They've spent their own time, their own energy, their own money to research. That's part of why I really love the biohacking community, is that they've done it. Like Rhonda, she's been there, done that. She helped her own family out with it. So now she's on a mission to help you. So let's get out, show that it's time to open up the world again to health and vitality. And the group that's meeting in Orange County is a wonderful group. So if you're in the area, please come by and see us. We'd love to meet with you one-on-one, talk with you, tell you what's going on. Rhonda, any last words before we end the call today?
Well, I just want to say that fear is very bad for us. It's very bad for the brain. It actually implicates us in so many negative ways, but even the brain will produce negative frequencies and so forth, and chemicals when we're in fear. So my best statement to you is learn how to fear not, because fear will put you into freeze or fight or flight, and it doesn't serve you. And so empower yourself to overcome fear, to help your brain. And the one last thing I want to say is that when I do the scans on brains, what's so fascinating is that the people that do modalities to help themselves, like meditation and prayer and so forth, oftentimes in their frontal poles right here, that's the emotional center of the brain, they'll be close to balance or in balance, but not one of them, Dr. Porter, has been in balance in their temporal lobe, which is your stress fitness and your autonomic nervous system in the background. So I suggest that if you're struggling with anything at all, your brain is probably out of balance in the stress realm, and that I can help you. So I hope to hear from you, and I hope to see you on Friday, June 4th.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to be there. So we're inviting, this is our personal invitation to everyone who watches this. If you know anybody in the Orange County area, it's going to be in Irvine. You can go to the link that we posted, the wakeupocevent.com. That has all the information there. You can register, come on in and see us. I do know that the room is limited, but, they're going to keep taking invites, or I think they might even be able to move us into a bigger room if we know in enough time. So please schedule so we know what to expect there. This is one of the first events since COVID in Orange County that we're putting on. So love to see you all there. Love to get working with you, helping you to how to maximize your health from the inside out, from the brain to the body. We have people there with doing all sorts of different modalities. So come on out, learn, and then love to meet you all. So thank you very much, Rhonda, again for being.
Thank you. Be empowered.
Okay.